The moment you genuinely stop caring about something, it suddenly becomes available to you. Relationships you stop chasing, opportunities you gave up on, even that one friend who ghosts everyone, but somehow always texts you back when you're not even thinking about them. They all seem to appear right when you've mentally moved on. I'm not talking about manifestation or positive thinking or any of that. I'm talking about something much more practical and honestly kind of cruel about how the world actually works. When you want something really badly, you radiate this energy, this desperation that everyone can smell from a mile away. You're texting back in 0.2 seconds. You're staying in situations that drain your soul because having something feels better than having nothing. But here's what's actually happening. When you want something that badly, you're operating from scarcity. You're making decisions based on fear rather than choice. Think about the last time you were really hungry, like genuinely starving, and you walked into a grocery store. Suddenly, everything looks good. Even those overpriced pre-made sandwiches start looking appealing. That's what desperation does to your judgment. You settle for less because you're afraid there won't be more. But when you're not hungry, when you've just eaten a good meal, you walk through that same store completely differently. You're selective. You actually notice what's fresh, what's worth your money, what aligns with what you actually want. Wanting nothing doesn't mean becoming a monk or giving up on life. Though honestly, monks seem pretty chill, not gonna lie. It means reaching a point where you're genuinely okay either way, where your happiness isn't contingent on getting that specific thing. This is when everything changes. People can sense when you don't need them desperately. They can tell when you're genuinely content with your own company. Suddenly you're not just another option in their roster. You're someone with actual substance, someone worth competing for. People are drawn to others who seem complete on their own. There's something magnetic about someone who's genuinely content with their life as it is, not because they've given up, but because they've built something solid enough that they're not looking for someone else to fix it. But here's the thing that makes this so frustrating. You can't fake not wanting something. Your subconscious leaks through everything. The way you text, the questions you ask, the energy you bring to conversations. People can tell when you're performing contentment versus actually feeling it. It's giving theater kid vibes, and not in a good way. I learned this the hard way. Spent years trying to seem less interested in things I desperately wanted, thinking if I just acted casual enough, the universe would reward my fake chill with what I was actually after. It never worked because underneath all that performed indifference was the same desperate energy, just with a mask on. The real shift happens when you genuinely build a life you don't want to escape from. When you're not using other people or opportunities as exit strategies from your current reality. When you start investing in yourself, your hobbies, your friendships, your space in a way that makes you actually enjoy your own company. Revolutionary concept, I know. This is why people say the best relationships happen when you're not looking for them. It's not because the universe has a sense of irony, though it definitely does. It's because when you're not looking, you're probably in a good place already. You're probably someone worth knowing. But there's a darker side to this pattern too. Sometimes we stop wanting things not because we've grown or found contentment, but because we've been hurt so many times that we've built walls disguised as wisdom. We tell ourselves we don't want that relationship, that opportunity, that connection. But really we're just protecting ourselves from another disappointment. The difference between healthy detachment and defensive numbness is subtle but important. Healthy detachment comes from abundance. You genuinely have enough in your life that you don't need this particular thing to feel complete. Defensive numbness comes from exhaustion. You've been disappointed too many times, so you're preemptively protecting yourself. Real not wanting something means you'd be genuinely happy if it worked out and genuinely okay if it didn't. You're not secretly hoping while pretending not to care. You're not keeping score of how little you're trying. You're just living your life and letting things unfold. This is probably the most counterintuitive lesson about getting what you want. The best way to attract opportunities is to build a life so fulfilling that you don't desperately need them to save you from your current situation. Everything wants you when you want nothing, because when you want nothing, you've already got everything that matters.